The image of Jamaica's millennials is often one of vibrance, creativity, and ambition. From tech-savvy entrepreneurs and creatives to professionals grinding toward personal success, this generation is full of promise. But beneath the surface lies a harsh truth. The dream of homeownership remains painfully out of reach for many. Skyrocketing property prices, low housing stock, and rigid financial systems have put homeownership on pause for an entire generation. For many, the very idea of owning a home feels like a fantasy, especially with the foreign direct investment (FDI) approach playing a quiet but pivotal role in how housing is financed, priced, and accessed. The FDI factor, policies, and their impact. At the center of this crisis is the government's focus on foreign direct investment, often favoring overseas developers and investors over local citizens. While FDI is seen as a path to economic growth, the unintended consequence is a housing market increasingly built for profit, not for people. Luxury over local needs. A large portion of FDI in the real estate sector is directed toward high-end housing developments and gated communities meant for foreigners or wealthy Jamaicans living abroad. These developments do little to address the needs of average millennials, displacement and inflation. As more FDI flows into prime real estate, the price of land and construction materials increases. Locals are priced out, and traditional communities are displaced to make room for new upscale projects. Real-life struggles. Stories abound of millennials who, even after years of saving, are rejected by banks or find themselves unable to compete with foreign cash buyers. One such example is Tajay, a 29-year-old teacher who has been turned down by multiple banks despite saving diligently for 5 years. A generation on hold. The consequences of unaffordability, the personal and societal costs of housing inaccessibility are mounting. Delayed milestones. Many millennials are unable to marry, start families, or achieve independence. The emotional and psychological toll of putting life goals on hold is often dismissed, but it is deeply felt. Stunted economic growth. A lack of housing reduces mobility and risk-taking. Would-be entrepreneurs are unable to leverage home equity to start businesses. Renters, in turn, are left with little to no capital to invest elsewhere. Overcrowded living. The percentage of Jamaican adults living in shared or extended family homes has surged. Some millennials are sleeping on couches or in partitioned rooms with little privacy or space to grow. This crisis isn't just a personal problem. It's a national emergency. Solutions are needed now, and they must be bold. Government support. First-time buyer subsidies, low-interest loans, and access to affordable land for housing schemes are crucial. Policy should incentivize banks to lend to millennials, even those outside of traditional employment. Affordable housing initiatives. More housing units aimed at lower-income earners must be developed. The government should also enforce stricter regulations on private developers who build only for the upper class. Innovative financing models, rent-to-own programs, community land trusts, and co-op housing could allow millennials to slowly build equity while living affordably. The younger generation must also be empowered to raise their voices. Sharing personal housing struggles, joining advocacy campaigns, and holding institutions accountable are ways they can affect real change. Despite the barriers, Jamaican millennials are not giving up. The resilience of this generation, shaped by hardship but driven by ambition, remains unshaken. Communities, NGOs, and policymakers must come together to reshape Jamaica's housing landscape. With enough pressure and collaboration, change is not only possible, it's inevitable. It's time to move beyond complaining and into action. The future of an entire generation is on hold. But with the right reforms and enough willpower, it can be unlocked.